Buying a new house is a super happy time in our lives when everything goes just perfectly. Wrong answer. According to a recent survey that I took here on this channel, there were 948 respondents who bought a new home in the United States, but 41% of them had problems with their new build. What? Yeah, and that's why I'm doing this video. I'm educating the public, and I want you to be sure of what to look for and what to stay away from. So many homeowners have had ongoing problems with their new home builds where quality is slipping through the cracks. So I want you to know, as with all my other videos, I truly want you to avoid the pitfalls that are costly. So give me a thumbs up if you're good with that. So here are 7 catastrophes that you must watch out for, even if you're just thinking about building or buying a new home. So in descending order, number 7, wet lumber, OSB, 2x4s. If the lumber for your home has been sitting on uneven land for a period of time or out in the rain, this is a notorious problem in places like Florida where it rains every single day, and in some places where there's lots of storms. So why? Because the lumber may warp and take on a new shape, but it's not just the paper thin walls that are causing the buckles and bulges. Number 6, foundations. Now pouring a slab, it looks good because it's nice and thick at the edges, but watch out, thin in the middle is cost cutting. So look carefully at the foundation and look at what the dig looks like before they pour. Number 5, studs. Now in larger volume builders, 24 inches on center is common, but at one time it was 18 inches on center. So that means there's less lumber in the walls today. Now some say that it's cost cutting, but based on design, engineers have determined that there's maximum efficiency out of a build. Yet on the other hand, some builders are still using 2x6s, which also allows for more insulation in the walls. Of course, this style of construction does cost more, but some builders will actually build walls with cinder blocks or even poured concrete, which helps to make it more stormproof. And that also will make it more costly to build. Number 4, the notorious shell game, allowances. So what is included? So if the builder gives you a $1,200 light fixture allowance or a $5,000 cabinet allowance, just to quote you a lower price to fit your budget, buyer beware. The question I have for you is, can you even find a complete kitchen for $5,000? Look, there's a sucker born every minute. Don't be a sucker. Use your head. What is it really going to cost when you're done building? I'll bet you that you're going to be over budget. So watch out for this game. Now, is any of this helpful so far? Put it in the comments. Now, some of you wrote me and you told me the average cost for a kitchen or a bathroom is not what you thought it was compared to just a few years ago. The fact is, 95% of the people who build a new home do not think it's going to cost them nearly as much as it really did, especially with all these new inflationary costs. Number 3, labor shortages. The starts, the stops, the parts, the pieces. When a project is pieced together because of a supply chain issue or other labor shortages, question, what happens when someone else picks up where someone left off? Sometimes that work isn't consistent. You don't know the subcontractor's experience level who's building your house. This is why it's super important to track the history of what that particular builder, that particular crew, and that particular neighborhood is doing to your house. So you don't want to be the one that nobody else wants. Don't go in not knowing. Now, if you're working with a buyer's agent on a new build, many times this is what they do every single day, and they'll know which builders and which communities have the most problems. You walk into a model home on your own, buyer beware. You're self-represented. Now, I've seen this many times. The agent in the model home is working for the builder and working in the builder's best interest. Yeah, they seem friendly, but the reality is they're selling and working for that builder. On the other hand, working with the right local real estate expert, buyer's agent, before you start shopping is super important. For example, if you were choosing a doctor, do you want the doctor who's reading a book and trying to figure out the surgery? Or do you want the one that is skilled, knows where the issues are, performs the surgery multiple times a day? Hey, it's your money and it's your life. Every single day I hear people that have regret. Don't let it happen to you. This is very important, guys. No one is advertising many of these problems that are in fact happening to someone every single day in new construction builds. So don't be blindsided by the issues. You want to make sure that you know this stuff before you plunk down your hard-earned money. Now, I'm going to talk about more of that in the next minute. Number 2, going over budget. It happens. The threat from a builder to put a lien on a property for going over budget, that's a problem. Some custom builders will use a cost-plus markup to build, and this means that the total labor, parts, materials, and then they'll add 25% to the build, which goes directly to the builder as they build everything. Now, this can be a trap. You got to watch out for it, because if you're under contract and you cannot see all the true costs, open up your checkbook and keep it open, because your money is going to be flowing. Don't get robbed. Now, here's an example. My real estate team does work closely with some custom home builders that only work with a cost plus 15%, which in itself is a huge savings. But knowing which builder to use, who's trustworthy, that is super important. So don't get robbed, as I said. Don't get your nose ripped off. Any builder that you work with, be sure that you put in a change order. Make sure that thing is in writing on every change order that you make. One couple told me they went tens of thousands of dollars over budget with no change orders in writing. And at the end, they got the bill and they didn't have the money to pay. And the builder threatened them with a lien on their property. So don't get scammed or robbed. Your money management is the power. Number one, crazy issues. Now, I've seen some absolutely crazy stuff selling real estate for the last 16 years, but I gotta tell you, here's a few doozies. Hot water pipes reversed, so when you sit on the toilet, it fills with hot water and you feel warm on your bottom. Yep, it happened. Plumbing reversed. Saving money by doing the work yourself without the builder knowing about it? Crazy. Look, even if you are a skilled electrician and you don't want to pay the extra $100 per outlet to put cable in the wall, don't go to the building site on a Sunday when nobody else is around and do the work yourself just to save the money. Because guess what? The county building inspector is going to come back and look at those plans, and he's going to find out that there's extras that are not on the building permit. And guess what happens? Work stops. Walls get ripped out. Even after the sheetrock goes up, it can cost you an extra $17,000 to get it back to the original plan. Crazy. Now here's another mistake. Two next door neighbors got into a huge fight on moving day. What happened? Well, two identical homes were sold on the same day on the same street. Buyer number one walked into the builder on their own because they thought they were smarter than everyone else. You know, they wanted to save money by going direct to the builder. Buyer two, our buyer, was working with one of our team members. So both buyers bought the same model, the same floor plan. The fight started when buyer one found out that they paid $50,000 more than our buyer client had paid. Why? Because we knew the incentives, we had worked closely with that builder for years, and the builder wanted us to bring more customers back for more years into the future. Buyer one was only buying one house, one time, and the agent on site was working for that builder. Moral to the story? Don't get slapped with the stupidity tax. Knowledge is power. Knowledge, skill, experience, that power can save you some big bucks. But remember at the beginning of this video, I had mentioned that 41% of the new builds had problems? Knowing which community, which builder to look for and which to stay away from, it's very important. Now, building your retirement home or your dream home, it's an exciting time, and it should be an exciting time for you. But these problems are happening to someone. It's not just in one place, but it's all around the nation. Now, some of you have written me and told me on your Las Vegas new home build, some homeowners have seen 35-foot long cracks stretching from the living room ceiling, doors not closing properly, wrong appliances installed, or gaps and cracks. And some problems can only be found after you live there for a while. And then you discover even deeper issues, the small ones and the minor and the major. Some homeowners have heard dripping in the walls from water after the rain, stucco, clogged pipes, HVAC systems overflowing. So you have to wait for the trades to show up for those repairs, the carpenters, the electricians, the drywall installers, the window installers, and others waiting for them sometimes to show, and then sometimes they don't. Now, some of you have written me and you told me about in Florida, the cracking, the sinking, the floors slanted, the bathtubs that are bowed. I mean, some Florida homeowners are complaining that they have even bigger problems because that they're building on swampland. Now look, I don't know if that's even true, but I do know a couple years ago, many homes in Florida, they were built with Chinese drywall, and they had a terrible mold problem. Now, many homeowners actually had to rip it out completely out of their brand new homes. But the question I have for you is, how many Florida homes still have it in their walls, right? Now, considering what you will pay for that new house today, you really need to know what your best options are up front before getting involved, because you're paying a lot of money for that new home. Because I don't want you to get stuck and have regret when that warranty runs out and you still own that home. This is why picking the right builder the first time is super important. Now, I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments. And if you're moving to coastal Carolinas, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or anywhere in the nation, I have a network of real estate experts that I can hook you up with that'll help you avoid the pitfalls that are costly and help you find your hidden gem. Just pick up the phone, give our office a call at 843-839-9870. There's over 1,100 super helpful videos here on this channel, and if you subscribed, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.